For the longest time, Pedri was football's quiet prodigy. You know the type, a player whose absolute magic on the ball did all the talking for him. But lately, that whole narrative has just been shattered. So today, we're going to dig into how one of the game's brightest, most uncontroversial stars became its new lightning rod. And it really all seemed to just explode with this one single firing line. In the final moments of a heated El Clásico, Jude Bellingham yells this at Pedri. It's a cutting reference to the Negreira case, that major scandal involving Barcelona. I mean, that's a taunt designed to hit where it hurts. And it just perfectly captured the end of an era of innocence for the young midfielder. So, yeah, how did we get here? How does the player everyone praised for his quiet brilliance suddenly transform into the guy at the center of brawls, controversy, and public arguments? We're going to trace the timeline, from that baseline of calm all the way to the boiling point. To really get the scale of this change, we've got to rewind. Let's go all the way back to 2023, a time when Pedri's public image was, well, as clean and precise as one of his through balls. Think about this. In the entire year of 2023, you know how many major controversies Pedri was involved in? Zero. A big fat zero. The headlines were all about his recovery from injury, his genius on the field, his potential. He was, by every measure, a model pro with a totally spotless record. But then 2024 rolls around, and this is where we start to see the first little cracks in that pristine facade. The immense pressure of playing at the absolute highest level for a club like Barcelona, it started to bubble up in some new ways. Okay, so the first real flashpoint comes during the Clásico that April. Pedri goes to protest a call, and immediately Real Madrid's Vinícius Júnior steps in. He tells the ref Pedri has no right to speak since he's not the captain, and then just yells at him, "Don't touch me." It might seem like a small moment, but wow, it was a clear signal that on-field tensions were really starting to rise. And look, the pressure wasn't just coming from opponents. Off the field, a fan account starts accusing Pedri of being a wasted talent, hinting that he's got this scandalous lifestyle. What happens next? His brother, Fernando, just explodes on Instagram, calling the critic a clown and a liar. This whole family drama made headlines and really showed the personal toll all this criticism was taking. And then, during Euro 2024, we see Pedri himself start to speak out in a way we just hadn't seen before. Before a match against Germany, he publicly calls out defender Antonio Rüdiger for his pinching tactics, straight up calling it a lack of respect. For the normally reserved Pedri, this was an incredibly direct and pointed criticism of another player. And that same tournament ends in heartbreak for him. A really heavy tackle from Toni Kroos injures his knee, knocking him out of the Euros. The whole incident sparked this huge debate. Kroos did apologize later, but the event just put another harsh spotlight on the physical and, psychological toll the game was taking on him. So, if 2024 was about the first cracks appearing, then 2025, well, that's when the whole thing just blew wide open. This is where the quiet star really began to roar, for better or for worse. The year kicks off with even more off-field drama. These unfounded rumors start flying around, trying to link his injuries to partying. It got so bad that Pedri had to go on the radio to address them himself. He flatly denied it, joking that anyone who followed him around would simply be bored. He wasn't staying quiet anymore. He was now actively defending his own reputation. The autumn of 2025 was just a blur of escalation. Things started happening fast and furious, from him publicly calling out referees to getting into arguments with his own teammates. It was all building towards one explosive night in Madrid. So in August, after a controversial penalty call, Pedri did not hold back. He openly challenged the refs to explain it properly. And then, and this is a big deal, he compared the call to a similar incident involving Real Madrid that wasn't penalized. For a player to so publicly draw a comparison with their biggest rival, that was a bold move. And then, just a few weeks later, you see that frustration start to boil over inside his own team. During a painful 4-1 loss, the cameras catch him in this really tense, animated argument with his teammate, Ferran Torres. The pressure wasn't just external anymore. It was creating friction within the team itself. And all this pressure, all these little incidents, they're all leading to one place, the Bernabeu. October 26th, 2025. This is the day it all just completely, finally exploded. So let's break down how this whole meltdown happened, step by step. It all starts with a foul in stoppage time. That foul leads to a second yellow card, which results in the very first red card of PEDRI'S entire career. Can you believe it? That sending off immediately kicks off a massive brawl, with both benches clearing. And right in the middle of all that chaos, you get that infamous taunt from Bellingham, a complete and total meltdown. And I mean, let's just put that red card into perspective to see how wild this was. From the day he started playing professionally in 2020 all the way through most of 2025, 0 red cards, not one. And then boom, in one single moment, that perfect record is just gone. It's a statistic, sure, but it represents a much bigger personal transformation. So after all that chaos, after this wild 2-year ride, what are we left with? Where does this leave PEDRI? Let's take a look at the complete transformation. I mean, the change is just, it's night and day, right? You look at 2023, quiet prodigy, uncontroversial on the field, private off it. Then you jump to the end of 2025, fiery competitor, confrontational with opponents and teammates, and publicly defensive of his reputation. It's a stark, undeniable shift. And that really leaves us with the million-dollar question for his future, doesn't it? Is this fiery new persona just a temporary symptom of the insane pressure that comes with being a star at a club like Barcelona? Or are we actually witnessing the painful, public birth of a hardened, battle-tested leader who's ready to fight for his team in a whole new way? Honestly, only time is going to tell.